Peace. What's going on, everybody? Big Quan.
Shaji.
Jahking. We made it back. We had a beautiful day. Beautiful day of seeing a lot of brothers and sisters I haven't seen in a long time, and just meeting new people.
Yeah.
I mean, from Detroit, Jacksonville, Florida, Miami, Florida, and out there building with people, listening to the message. What did you take away from it?
Well, one thing I took away from it was the fact that we really need to continue reaching out and taking responsibility. Kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning before we went down there. It was like it reaffirmed that notion that there's a disconnect between our generation and the next generation. We need to get off our phones and into the streets, or into the movement, or into just the development of our families, and making sure that we're not, one thing that I walked away with, like one of the biggest messages, it was something that I already knew, but it was just kind of like we reestablish it. The fact that we go to our politicians, we go to Congress, and we go to our government expecting freedom, right? We go to them and we expect for them to give us freedom, to let up the oppression, when we really need to free ourselves. And that's economically, that is through culture, through understanding who you are. It's through your diet and health. We inflict a lot of the limitations that we have on ourselves, not knowing money and economics, not knowing how to budget and how to spend amongst our own people. That's self-inflicted. I mean, we were taught that, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you can unlearn that and replace that poison with something positive and fruitful. So I understand it's the Million Man March and we're protesting and this, that, and the third, but I think we need to kind of evaluate a new way of taking our power back.
As much as you want to hold those people accountable, we got to start holding ourselves accountable. You got, especially I will say, we spoke about on the way back, one of the disappointments was for me, just to reach the youth, because I think to a degree there was some disconnect with the message that's there. Like people my age and elders that were there, we could relate, but there was, Shaji, can you speak to the things that you did or didn't get or missed, from today's march?
It was moving, but there was I don't know, like there were people that came up on the stage that I didn't know and stuff like that, and I didn't feel, not that I felt bad, but it takes some of the spirit that you have away from the moment when you can't relate to the person that's talking. You know what I mean? Like we all knew Louis Farrakhan and stuff like that, but like there are people that came up that I didn't know, and it's hard to establish a 10-minute relationship while they're on the stage talking. You know what I mean?
So a connection.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of the brothers I know from home. His cousin approached me because we were talking, and she was like, "Do you understand what he's saying?" And this was at the time the minister was speaking, and I had explained it. She said, "Well, since you put it that way, I understand what he's saying." Mm-hmm. I said, "Well, you have to sort of just listen in, because he might be a little wordy in what he's saying." And all praises to what the minister was saying, but she couldn't comprehend it.
Yeah, I think when we had the first march, like I said in the initial video, I think that there was consciousness in the music, consciousness in the neighborhoods and in the environment and amongst ourselves. I mean, you had the Nation of Gods and Earths, you had the Muslims, you had different positive gangs and people involved, and they spoke to certain issues, and it was a little bit more accessible. But now you have a 20-year period of misinformation and kind of a regression where people are not as hip to what's going on. So you take a person that's talking about Bible quotes and talking about things in a way that it's foreign to them, right? So they can't necessarily, like, if I'm listening to my music, right, and my music tells me about Marcus Garvey, and then someone gets on the stage and starts talking about Marcus Garvey, there's a relationship, and I can correlate those things.
Hey, what you're saying is absolutely right. Because if you're listening to the music and the music is boom, 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 and let's be real, you have those artists that are singing these chants and even like stars, and you are trying to figure out what they like. Turn it down. You got to turn it down, because if you're not understanding and you have no even like, you wouldn't put the effort in school and you listen to that music and you can't quite understand the message or when people are talking to you, you got to turn down what you're listening and focus on to what's out here and what's in front of you, because the politicians will talk to you, talk above you, talk below you, talk around you. And if you can't comprehend what these people are saying that affect you, you got to turn that down and either open a book or start like listening more, expanding your vocabulary, listening more. Because, you know, hey, Migos cool. What's the mother groups? Young, well, I'm not a fan, but you know, Future is cool. But find an alternative. Find an alternative that you can actually get something out of it than just a chant. Because if you're not getting anything out of it, well, what is it? Fruitful from it. Mm-hmm. Something that feeds you, feeds your soul. You know.
Yeah.
You can miss the message.
Exactly.
You can miss the message.
Mm-hmm. So I think the moral of the story is, I think it's positive that we were able to meet peacefully, even though people felt like there was going to be some type of static, which is bullshit.
Even like the white guy.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
I love all my people. Go
what
ahead.
happened with that? No, you tell the story, yo.
So I caught it on the tail end. Check this out. I caught it on the tail end. And me being the person I am, I'm trying to help you out. He asked us, and I wasn't paying attention to the conversation because I was speaking to someone else. And he said, "Where's the liquor store?" And I paused, stopped my conversation real quick. I said, "There's not one around here. You're not going to find one around here, but maybe out in Virginia." Not knowing he was being facetious. Not knowing he was trying to troll. That's right. That's the perfect. See, you don't have to troll. We're not violent people. We're not. No one's trying to be violent. But you want to create hostility. Come on, man.
And you know what'll happen, man? Like, you know, somebody like that'll be trolling, and then out of the blue,
fuck him up!